look, people are saying, well, Lancashire Police, completely vindicated, because a body, remains to be seen if it's Nicola's, but a body has been found in the river, and they were adamant that there would be a body in that river. Have Lancashire Police been vindicated?
I don't think so, in this sense that I've said from the very start of this, I referred to the tragic case of the fireman Anthony Knott, who disappeared into the river in Sussex in 2020 and emerged 21 days later. So this is a very similar sort of timeline to this. And with Peter Falding, he seems to be making excuses and whatever about the search, but of course he will always say that he wasn't given the full facts. And he had a search team there with all sorts of specialist equipment, and was never told by the Lancashire Police that this lady had all sorts of issues. And we speculate about this. She may have attempted to take her own life. She may have been pushed and whatever else, but they were never given those facts when they searched, and it's just awful that the family have been had to wait days and days and days, and she's just 1 mile away. You know, the Anthony Knott, the fireman, he was swept 8 miles downstream, and I'd like to ask, you know, did they consult an expert on river movements to say, look, this river's this wide, this deep, this temperature, these bends, how far would a body move in this circumstance? Yeah. And I just get the impression that they've been very insular. They didn't like an outside expert coming in. They've not consulted with other experts, and it's a mess.
Let me just emphasise, Mike, obviously, yet to be confirmed, there is a body found in the river. That's the state of play. I get all of that. I'm going to ask the question now that I think most people at home will be thinking. How on earth can you not find a body in a river with all of those resources, supposedly less than a mile away from where that person is believed to have gone in the river? I don't understand that.
Yeah, well, so what I would say, so a river is a very, very difficult environment, dark and dingy to search in. It isn't good enough in the sense it's only a mile away. One of my teams, my expertise as well is super recogniser officers, and they helped to locate the suspect for the Alice Gross murder. And she had been concealed in a river in West London, and they'd already searched the river, the Frogman, and not been able to find her because it is a very, very difficult environment. Once they've been pinpointed where she may well be, then she was found. But it's almost like a fingertip search because it's so dark down there. It's just a challenging environment. And the body sinks. What you find is the body goes to the bottom, and then what will happen is, of course, it starts to decompose. These are all awful things that people don't want to hear about, I suppose. But the body decomposes, it fills with gas, and then it rises to the top. And if you look, it's usually between 2 and 3 weeks, and tragically, this is the case. That is the timeline, but it just simply isn't good enough. I'm with you on that.
OK, now, I'm just going to play a little clip. Stay where you are, please, Mike, for me. And this is of Peter Falding. So Peter Falding is of the Specialist Group International, which had all of this special equipment, the independent dive search team. He's been very vocal. He's been on this show numerous times, actually, in the past couple of weeks. Now, he's copping it a bit this morning. This is a clip of him defending himself earlier on today on our breakfast show. Let's play it.
If Nicola had fallen in the play at the bench where the phone was found, she would have landed in 2 feet of water. She would not have drowned at that location. I don't believe Nicola went in because the police divers searched that area thoroughly that afternoon, and drowning victims go to the bottom. She could not have made it over the weir in a day. There's no way, and that my whole team and other police have looked at this. It baffled me.
People are saying that this guy was just caught in publicity, that, you know, he was there for his own self-promotion and all of this. Do you look at Peter Falding and think that actually he's got anything to be accountable for here when it comes to not finding Nicola, or is he vindicated?
I think he made very unwise statements about her definitely not being in the river. But, of course, as I said to you, he will fall back on the position that he wasn't told the full facts. And if somebody wants to get over that weir, then they will get over that weir. But, obviously, you think if somebody's just fallen in and they're drowning, then they won't want to get over the weir. We're then told 3 weeks later by Lancashire Police this lady had all sorts of mental health issues and all sorts of physical things that really we didn't need to know about at all. And so So it could have been a possibility that she tried to take her own life. We don't know that, and the coroner's inquest will no doubt will look into that. But if he'd been given those facts, then he may well have searched further. And I think the biggest problem for me in all this is the Lancashire Police and the press department and the information that they gave out. At the very start, they tried to portray Nicola as a wholesome mum, no issues whatsoever. Now, the fact that she had mental health issues, I don't think any of us would have thought any less of her because of that.
No.
But they tried to portray her in one way, which was untrue. Why do that? And then having released information, she was a domestic incident, which then, of course, her partner is suddenly in the firing line, and then they start to release all this other information, which we certainly don't need to know. It's one extreme or the other.
Absolutely.
And I do think if Peter Foldling had given more information, we may have had a different result. But it was very unwise, in my view, to say there was nothing in that river.
It's one thing to release duff information and weird information. It's another thing if that information that could have been vital wasn't given to another guy who was trying to help look for Nicola. Mike, thank you. Mike Neville there, former Detective Chief Inspector at Scotland Yard, in their missing person unit, just reacting to the news that there is a body that's been found in the River Wyre. We are awaiting confirmation as to whether or not that is Nicola.